Mayor Mike Johnston is here. Welcome again, sir.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, it's voting season. Everyone knows that. And what we've been doing, we started this yesterday, highlighting some of the ballot issues, just talking about them so people are informed, right? So we want to talk to you, sir, and ask you about ballot issue 2R. What exactly is it?
Yeah, you bet. And I know this is a big ballot this year, so folks probably feel like it's a big homework assignment sitting on their kitchen counter.
Yeah.
But it is an important one. And this one, I think, is maybe the most important local issue on the ballot. It's about affordable housing. What we know right now is that Denver is becoming more and more expensive every day, and we have more and more families at risk of being pushed out of the city if we don't get more housing that's affordable. So this is a sales tax. It's 0.5%, so it would mean it's on a $10 purchase, it'd be a 5-cent addition. But importantly, it does not apply to groceries, does not apply to gas. It only apply, if you're buying a Jamal Murray jersey, you're buying a new pair of Nikes, that's when you would pay it. You'd not pay it when you're getting your core necessities. And about a third of it is paid by out of city visitors, tourists who come in. But what it will go to is bringing on more affordable units for people that are working families in the city. And so we got a lot of teachers, nurses, firefighters, servers, retail workers who can't afford to stay in the city. This helps build and bring on units so people don't pay more than 30% of what they make to rent. The idea is if you're making $60,000 a year, you shouldn't pay more than $1,500 a month in rent. But most folks are paying $2,500, $3,000. So this would bring on more and more of those units where folks would not have to pay more than 30% of what they make. And we put what's called the deed restriction on it. It's a rule where no one can ever raise the rent on you. It doesn't matter if some new out-of-state investor buys the building or a new landlord comes in. If you're in one of these units, the rent can't go up. It stays at 30% of what you make.
Got it. Okay. So can you put into context what shortage means for the city of Denver? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, it means right now that we're 45,000 affordable units short. What that means is tonight, 50% of the renters in Denver tonight cannot afford to live in Denver. They are right now paying more than they can afford, which means either they're not paying their health bills, they're not paying their food bills, they're cutting somewhere. And so that's what happens before people start to just say, I can't do this anymore, and they leave the city.
Right.
Or, the next time you get that rent increase, if you're a senior living on a fixed income, and next time your landlord comes and says $200 more a month, you just say, I give up. And so I think that's what we're trying to prevent is people not having to worry every month the rent's going to go up and not have to move out of Denver to be able to afford to live somewhere.
So you kind of mentioned this already, but I think some of the words in these amendments are things people aren't familiar with. So I just want to make sure that it's very clear. You said that 2R is hoping to bring 45,000 units that are deed restricted. So can you talk a little bit more about what that is? Is it like rent control or?
It's a great question. So deed restricted means we build the unit with a rule up front. The deed restriction is a rule that says this unit must stay affordable so that whoever lives in it doesn't have to pay more than 30% of what they make. If you make $90,000 a year, you don't pay more than 30%. If you make $30,000 a year, you don't pay more than 30%. And rent control is a little different. Other cities do rent control, where that's where if you owned an apartment building right now, we just walk up and say, as of today, we're resetting all the rents at half of what they are. And then a lot of building owners lose their buildings or they don't know how to make that work. What this does is because we can put in public money up front, we can make the math work to say, all right, you're going to build 100 units. If we give you $2 million, we want 30 of those units to be deed restricted to stay affordable. And the cool thing about this is you'll still have a brand new, beautiful building with 100 units in it. You won't be able to tell the 70 units that people are paying $3,000 a month for from the 30 units that they're paying $1,500 a month for. And you got a nurse and a doctor side by side. Doctor, she's paying the full $3,000. Other nurses paying only $1,500. So these are meant to be mixed income developments, we call it, where it's just apartments across the city. But everyone now complains to me, I see these apartments going up in my neighborhood and none of them are affordable. Like, why is that? This is a way to solve that by making sure that some of those units in that building are deed restricted so they can never change.
Okay, so does that play into the idea of affordable housing? Because my question is, affordable means different things to different people, right?
Yes.
And I was reading that you're looking to get those people that are at 80% of the area median income, which is about $73,000. I'm not a math major, but
yeah, you're right.
so that's affordable to some, but not to a lot of people. So how do you address that?
Yeah, so this will go all the way up to people that make 100% of area median income. That basically means the average Denver resident is 100% of area median income. So it's almost to $100,000 total of income. And what you find is, if you're making $100,000 a year, then 30% of your income to rent would be about $30,000 a year. That's about $2,500 a month. that starts to be more affordable. So once you get closer to 100,000, there are units you can find. The real problem is if you're making 60,000 a year, you cannot find units at $1,500 a month. And so what we really want to do is add in those units so that everyone should be able to find something that's affordable to them. And if you get a big bonus and you're making 150,000, you'll be able to find something on the market. It's those folks 100,000 and under that are working 2 or 3 jobs and can't find stuff right now. And so that's really where we want to bring this on. I think the key focus is this is not a focus on homelessness. This is not a focus on people with the greatest need. This is really focused on those working families that are busting their butts and doing 2 or 3 jobs and still can't pay the rent here. That's our biggest risk in Denver, is to lose those families.
I see.
Got it. And that 0.5% sales tax that you mentioned will start January 1st and be imposed for the next 30 years. Why is it 30 years, and why is that significant?
Yeah, the reason why is for us to change the market here, we have to, we need to start bringing on 4,000 or 5,000 units a year. One thing I'll add is this doesn't mean building all new units. We can take units that exist right now and we can buy them and add that deed restriction. So say there are 50 units here that are market rate. We buy them and we say we're going to put now this deed restriction on, so now the rent can't go up in these units. We can also do what we call rental subsidies. If you're a senior citizen who is, paying $2,000 a month, but you can only afford $1,600 a month, we can work with you and sign a lease for the next 2 years where we pay $400 a month, you pay the $1,600. It's now affordable to you right away. And so it doesn't have to all be new construction. It can be just taking more and more of the units in the city and making sure they are affordable, because people feel like you can't find those. The reason why we did it for that 30-year timeline is that allows us to build a real pipeline of, we know we're going to need more workers. We're going to need more people in construction, more people in design and engineering. They have to know year in, year out, those dollars are coming. It's not like, oh, we'll wait and see what happens in the budget process. Maybe there's no money this year. Maybe there's some money. We need a stable, predictable set of dollars each year so that the rest of the market can respond and know they should bring more capacity to Denver, because that's what we want to do.
Understood. Okay, and some opponents say that tax increases are regressive, they're rushed, counterintuitive, and you believe we can't afford to wait. Can you explain why?
Yeah, I think that when people say a sales tax is regressive, they mean it's because if someone that makes $20,000 a year pays the same sales tax as someone that makes $200,000. But the difference is, the reason why we use the sales tax, as the purpose is to help those folks that are struggling the most. And so while we say the total impact of this could be about $2 a week that a family might pay more, that's about $100 a year. The impact on those same families that are struggling is that this could save them about $1,000 a month in rent. So if you're paying $2 more a week, but you're saving $500 or $1,000 a month, that is the game changer for families that are on the edge. And so we know it's not everybody that's in that position, but I think the families that we are most worried about being affected by a sales tax are the ones who are most helped by this measure. That's why we think it is so important.
Nice. Mayor Mike Johnston, ladies and gentlemen, it's Ballot Issue 2R. There's a lot of them for you to please go over, do your homework, look at all of them, right?
Yeah, Denverite has a great voter's guide that's neutral, just gives you the facts, so you can check that out.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, listeners, for paying attention. I know voting is sometimes going to be a long task, but it's an important one, and we think the 2R will make a big difference on keeping the city that we love open to all the folks who love it. We want to make sure we do that, so we'd love your help.
Thank you very much.